Today, for today's tutorial, you're going to need a nice, long, soft measuring tape, and then you're also going to need a pen, of course, and a piece of paper with so that you'll be able to write your measurements down on. For your hair, you're going to need to have it prepped for your measurements. So either you can have your hair braided back, you can have your hair wrapped, you can have it in 2 braids. It depends on how flat you want your surface to be when you wear your full lace wig. Normally you would try to do whatever protective style you're going to do underneath is what you'll probably do when you're actually wearing your full lace custom made wigs. So I braided mine in about 6 braids and I put the wig cap on. A lot of times I don't even actually wear wig caps, but for this video I decided to put this wig cap on. And you're also going to keep in mind, leave some of your hairline out, because you want to make sure you're seeing everything. In regards to the measurements, these are your measurements for a custom-made full lace wig. In regards to your front natural hairline, the peaks and curves will depend on the measurements of your unit. If you want the absolute most perfect hairline, will be a hairline of your own. In order for that, you're going to have to look at my hairline template video, and you will actually make an outline of your hairline and send that in to me with your measurements, and then that way you will have the exact hairline that you personally have. And it sometimes even uneven in different areas, which is natural for you to have like a different peak in different temples and everything like that. So keep that in mind as well. So hopefully the tips on this video helps. So until next time, enjoy. So I want to show you what you can do to avoid that. First measurement we're going to do is we're going to have your circumference. Now you're going to go through the outside where the lace would be. So you're going to make sure that the back area is underneath where your braids are. These are where my braids are. So it's underneath where my actual natural hairline is. So I'm going to take this measurement and then you're going to write down your circumference size. Your second measurement is going to be your front to your nape. The tip with your front to your nape measurement is where you want the wig to lay. By wig standards, lace wig standards, if you have 3 fingers from your eyebrows, then that's a natural forehead. Anything more or less, then it's going to look unnatural. Some people may have larger foreheads, so they might have additional finger. If you want it to be where your natural hairline is, then that's where you will measure. If you want a shorter forehead, I've had clients come in and say, I don't want as much forehead showing. You can do that as well to hide it. So you're going to take your front to your nape, and this is where one of the measurements where you want to keep in mind. I'm not going to measure it from my actual baby hair of my own. I'm going to actually measure it a little bit lower, because this is where I actually want the unit to be applied. I don't want it to touch my hair, so that's where I'm going to lay the tape on my actual skin and not on actually my hairline. So you see the difference? Instead of being right here, we're going to actually bring it down a little bit further. And then you're going to take it to the nape area, and you want it right below the actual hairline. Another thing is, when it comes to this measurement, you have to keep in mind how thick your hair is now, and if it's going to grow, did you just recently cut it? Because this particular measurement, you may want to go a little bit longer in the nape area, simply because the more your hair grows, the more this portion will rise, the back portion will rise. So when you have your cap, you can outgrow it. So this one particular measurement you want to be very mindful of when you're measuring. And if you did just cut your hair and you expect it to grow, or to grow naturally, then you have to really keep in mind, then you may want to add additional inch to this measurement, an inch to a half an inch. Alright? So the second measurement is going to be ear to ear from my forehead. So I have my ear across my front hairline to my other ear. Now that measurement is pretty simple. You don't have to make any sort of adjustment to that measurement. Your ear to ear across top. Now this is a measurement that you may want to reconsider when you see whatever your number is. This measurement in particular also goes with if your hair is shorter now, do you expect it to grow, are you transitioning to all natural, or if you have really, really thick hair. Sometimes you might braid really, really small today. So say for instance, the braids that I have today are very, very small. Just an example. The next time you put your wig on, you might be a little bit lazy and you might braid your hair back a little bit thicker, a little bit wider, and not as many braids. Therefore, your hair is not as flat as it normally is. You want to consider that as well. So that is another measurement you may want to add in regards to, you know, depending on if you want your unit to fit perfectly. That is your fourth measurement. The next measurement is another measurement you may want to consider adjusting depending on your current situation, which is your temple to temple measurement. Once again, I am not going to measure from my actual hair. I'm going to measure a little bit forward because this is where I want the unit to lay. This is where the adhesive is going to lay on my skin, not on my hair. Once again, protecting your hairline. So you want to make sure it's lined up, the nice even line, as you see here. You want to make sure that this measurement isn't down too far and it's not up too far, because you're going to get an inaccurate measurement. You want to make sure it's directly in the middle of your head. So measurement, measure. Once again, if you look at the measurements, I'm not going to do this 17 size. I'm going to do the 17.5 to my actual hair. And the nape area is pretty simple. When it comes to measuring your nape area, you want to make sure that you're getting this portion. So this portion down to this portion right here. So if you're measuring it right here, this nape area, to this point, if you have additional hair right here where this finger is, you're going to end up avoiding, you're going to have a cap that's not going to fit correctly. So you want to make sure your nape area lines up to cover these areas right here. So for myself, I'm going to just do a feel test to see exactly where my measurements are. Your neck area. And normally if you send in your sizings and something doesn't seem wrong, or you seem like really very different than what the norm is, normally I'll give you a call to ask you, can you confirm that these sizings, these measurements are correct, or make sure you also measure your head 2 to 3 times. I personally measure my head 3 times. You can do whichever one you want, but if you want to get the most accurate, you should definitely try to measure it about 2 to 3 times. So hopefully these tips will help. So keep in mind these measurements: your front to nape, your ear to ear, temple, and your ear to ear over top, in regards to making adjustments on, not making adjustments, just to be mindful of how your hair is now and how you expect it to be in the next year or so if you're expecting to wear these units for a while. So hopefully these tips help. Subscribe, rate, comment, and that's about it. Thank you.